Hello everyone. Today I am going to discuss Sylvia Plath's poem named Daddy. The question which is framed is: would you consider Sylvia Plath, Daddy, to be an expression against the voice of patriarchy? Comment critically. The answer is Daddy, a confessional poem, was written by Sylvia Plath in October 1962. While we go through the poem, keeping in mind Sylvia's personal life and situations, we come to know that she was continuously ruled over by her father till her own death. Although her father was only alive till she turned 8. I was 10 when they buried you, may be written by Sylvia Plath due to her mental inclarity. Patriarchy means rule of older, yeah, eldest member, that is the male figure in the family, over other family members. But if her father died when she was only 8 and her further life was actually without him, then I think her poem Daddy is not an expression against the voice of patriarchy. Her father was a professor in biology and died of undiagnosed diabetes. At that time, after his leg was amputated due to gangrene, I feel strongly and think logically that this poem reveals extreme longing and love of Sylvia Plath for her dead father. I am aware that the children need their parents more while they are growing up. Of course, exceptions are possible. In childhood days, children don't require parents much, as they are already involved much to look after them. But as they grow up, their needs grow, and for Sylvia, being daughter, they started longing more and more for her father. Electrocomplex does play a role. In human experience, when we love someone desperately and do not get him or her back to us, then we start creating negative feelings about him or her and establishing a relationship of that person's behavior with that of his native place and past life, sucking up all the negatives in it and spilling it all over around oneself, so that the desperation of meeting your loved one is cut off by the self created negative circle. For Sylvia, against anything which would remind her of her father, Otto Plath. First stanza reveals that Sylvia has decided that now she will not live like this. She has already lived for 30 years, choking herself, but now you do not do, you do not do. In second stanza, when Sylvia says, Daddy, I have had killed you. You died before I had time. I think she means to say that if her father was so eager to die, then she would have done the act of killing him. But her father did the act himself before she could find time to do what he wanted. It means that she is saying or asking her father that why did you die so early? She definitely loved and missed her father desperately, while she says a bag full of God. She compares her father to God. She describes the big physical body of her father ghastly and marble heavy. Although one leg was big due to gangrene, big as Frisco seal. While her father was ill, she prayed for him. I used to pray to recover you. In fourth stanza, Sylvia says that after a long war with illness, her father was scrapped flat under the ground. by the roller which levels up the uneven land. But she cannot trace where was her father rooted or lived previously because autoplath was crossed out from family Bible by his grandfather. She says, so I could never tell where you put your foot, your root. She regrets that. She didn't had, wasn't gifted with enough time to talk to her father. I never could talk to you. She further says in line 25, the tongue is stuck in my jaw, which could mean that whenever she saw a German, she used to have made an effort to talk to him, confusing him with her father. Soon as she realized her mistake, she would have caught her tongue between her jaws as a sorry gesture. Her confusion is further depicted in line 29. I thought every German was you. In the line 30, she says, German language as obscene. Further in stanza 7, she compares German language to a puffing engine who, like a misbehaved person, is making a mockery of her. An engine, chuffing me off like a Jew. And further, that engine, German or German language, would take her towards death, like going to German concentration camps to kill the Jews in mass. In 8th stanza, she talks of Taylor and Vienna to be impure places, as mass massacre of Jews was done in these places, and she herself felt unlucky, nearing death, or living a sad, deadly life like that of a Jew. Stanza 9 describes Sylvia's fear from a German visage, Air Force, a heavy hush up sound by dosing one's mouth and inflating one's cheek, gobble, gobbledygoo, and the Hitler type neat mustache. In stanza 10, poets say, not God, but a swastika, means Germans opted for symbol of swastik, which is a sacred one from ancient times. But for German, it didn't mean so. They, they meant it so black that even the sky could not utter any word. Every woman adores a fascist, as there was no other option in those circumstances, and they treated women badly or disgracefully. The boot in the face. Immediately she takes care to say, brute heart of a brute like you. She never says that her father was a brute and behaved disgracefully with her mother or herself, but she wants to express that sorrow in her heart that why her father left her alone and went away. Why did he behave so tough and left her so early or died so early? Sylvia mentions clearly that her father had cleft a hole made in foot due to gangrene, but her father, whom she took her as his photograph showed, the cleft in the chin like the devil have in their appearance. Further, she talks of him as being a brute who broke her heart, bit my pretty heart in two, too. Ted Hughes married Sylvia in 1956 and left her in 1963, approximately 6 years. And in 1963, Sylvia committed suicide, plus 1 year, which sums up to be 7 years of physical, emotional torture and suffering. This fact is further written down in her stanza 13. I made a model of you, which means she married Ted, father like figure, and developed a love for further torture and a love for rack and screw. And I said, I do, I do. Sylvia further and finally declares to her father that now she has decided to end all the turmoil, tension, and turbulence with her, within her. So, Daddy, I'm finally through. The black telephone's off at the root. The voices just can't worm through. Now nothing will disturb her anymore. The voices just can't worm through. Sylvia slays. If I have killed one man, I have killed two. The vampire who said he was you and drank my blood for a year. 7 years. If you want to know, Daddy, you can lie down. To her father, I claim that I killed you. Maybe when she decided to marry. Further, she says, I have killed two. The word two is followed by hyphens to join it with a further line, the vampire. It clearly indicates that she loved and longed for her father desperately, and therefore, even after marriage, she searched for a fatherly love in her husband, which she could not get and felt otherwise. Now she is over with every faith to recover her father and address that daddy. You can lie now. Moreover, her husband, Ted Hughes, has left her alone. There's a stick in your fat black heart means that autoplath have had some pricking in her heart, maybe an unsatisfaction due to premature death. And the villagers knew that his spirit was around, so they danced and stamped on his grave to relieve the spirit. In last line, Daddy, Daddy, you bastard, I am through. Daddy for autoplath, which is a loving address, and Daddy, you bastard, for Ted Hughes, who didn't have a very beautiful relation with Sylvia. So, friends, I hope this video will help you to understand a little better and deeper the life of Sylvia Plath, a remarkable poetess. Thank you.